This is iFIBER 1 News. Here are today's top stories.
The driver in a collision that killed the 8-year-old daughter of a Grant County Sheriff's Corrections deputy in 2016 has pleaded guilty.
These wildfire-bound birds drop countless gallons of retardant every summer in the U.S., but who's at the controls? What's inside?
Currently, every part of Washington state is officially under a drought.
If all goes to plan, the new Wendy's in Moses Lake will be up and open around Thanksgiving.
From the iFIBER 1 newsroom, this is iFIBER 1 News. And it starts now.
The driver in a collision that killed the 8-year-old daughter of a Grant County Sheriff's Corrections deputy in 2016 has pleaded guilty. Neil McLeod pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide and 2 counts of vehicular assault in connection to the fatal wreck in Ephrata that killed Audrey Grubb. As part of a plea deal, prosecutors agreed to dismiss a first-degree murder charge and all aggravating factors in the remaining charges. Prosecutors are asking that McLeod receive an exceptional sentence of 27.5 years behind bars, while McLeod's defense attorney is requesting the high end of the standard sentencing range, a little over 23 years in prison. A sentencing hearing is scheduled for September 14th in Grant County Superior Court. On July 20th, 2016, McLeod was located by police driving a Dodge Durango after reports he was trying to steal a vehicle. The police officer began following McLeod's vehicle and noticed McLeod was driving at a high rate of speed on D Street Northeast as he approached the intersection with Division Street. The SUV collided with the pickup truck at the intersection, throwing 8-year-old Audrey from the vehicle. She was taken to Columbia Basin Hospital, where she later died. The pickup truck crashed into a vacant home and 2 other people in the truck. Corrections Deputy Justin Grubb and his girlfriend Elizabeth Mills were both injured in the collision. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This segment is brought to you by
Change doesn't have to be complicated. With a low-profile microwave hood combination that's ready to install right out of the box. It fits in the same space as your under-cabinet hood, so you can get your microwave off the countertop and make space for the routines worth keeping. The low-profile microwave hood combination from the #1 selling appliance brand in the USA.
Whirlpool Appliances, now available at more furniture in Ephrata. These wildfire-bound birds drop countless gallons of retardant every summer in the U.S., but who's at the controls and what's inside? iFIBER 1 News explored the aeronautical element of fighting fires during its visit to the air tanker base at the Grant County International Airport this week. At the airport were 2 planes, a BAE-146 and an MD-87. Both were slaves to the airline industry at one point, but now they saved lives. The planes shown fly for private companies, but are contracted by the U.S. Forest Service to fight fires, and this is where they land to rest and reload on fire retardant. Eric Toombs manages the Moses Lake Air Tanker Base.
One of the great things about here, it is a former bomber base, so it was made just for that purpose. This is the main operations room. We get the dispatches from our dispatch center to this location. We process that information, figure out where the tankers are going, where they're needed for the fires. We process that information, give it to the pilots, and then we actually load the aircraft with its designated payload.
Toombs told us more about what the retardant reloading process entails.
The retardant at that location, it comes in a liquid concentrate form, and then we add the water to it. We have four loading pits. We can pump two pits simultaneously. There's one pump that coincides with 2 pits, so we can pump either 1 and 2, or 1 or 2, and 3 or 4. So we can load two planes simultaneously.
We then got a first-hand look at the inside of the BAE and noticed that the retardant tank occupied most of the fuselage. And no, there weren't any passenger seating. Sorry, folks. But we did run into this man, Lorne King, the plane's pilot, who was in the middle of a routine check. King, who hails from Billings, Montana, told us why he does what he does.
That's fine. Yeah, No, it's just a fun career. It's unique. It gives me a lot of time home with my family, and it's just nothing like it. You know, it gives you a good feeling when you get out there and get on a fire and stop it before it goes big or something like that. When you get out after a dry lightning storm and put out a bunch of little starts and stuff like that, it feels good. You're helping the guys on the ground get their fire out.
Lauren described what happens when the plane approaches its target.
They give us what's called a dispatch, and that will give us a lat long where the fire is, and it will give us all the frequencies, the IC commander, all that stuff. And from there, we'll type it in, we'll fly out to the point, we'll call up the air attack or the lead plane, and then they'll kind of show us what they want and explain to us what they want, and then when we're ready to go live, we'll start configuring the airplane and getting down there, and they'll give us a point they want us to tie into and build line, basically. So they're giving you directions like whether they want a 1.5 foot wingspan over this side or what, because they're trying to figure out where the wind's going to push it and all that. They'll give you an exact start point, and they try to be descriptive with how they do that. So it's tie into this road, push it up this hill to this tree, stop at this tree, and then from there. And they're telling us exactly what kind of coverage level they want on the fire, how much how heavy of they want us to put the retardant down, and all that.
During the off-season, aerial firefighters return home to their families, and the planes are housed at the main hubs for extensive maintenance. I'm Sean Goggins for iFIBER 1 News. This segment is brought to you by...
Your taste buds bored? Well, then bring them to Jay's Teriyaki. Not only does Jay's have a variety of teriyaki dishes, they also offer mouth-watering salads and sides. Call Jay's 509-764-5155. Jay's Teriyaki, located at 123 East Broadway in Moses Lake, because it's all in the sauce.
Currently, every part of Washington state is officially under a drought. The Drought Intensity Scale is produced by a consortium of government agencies and rates arid conditions in 5 categories, from abnormally dry at the low end to exceptional drought as the most extreme. Right now, the southwestern part of the state, where the drought is listed as severe, is seeing the worst effects, while neighboring portions of western Washington and some places in the extreme north-central and northeast corner of the state have been tagged as having moderate drought. Much of the land east of the Cascades is experiencing the lightest impacts, including Chelan, Douglas, and Grant counties, which are currently labeled as abnormally dry. Still, some impacts are being felt by area farmers due to declining stream flows and a weeks-long lack of rain. Just this week, the Department of Ecology sent notices to some irrigation users in the Wenatchee Valley about the potential for an interruption to their service, although Department spokesperson Joy Redfield Wilder says this is not an unusual occurrence for that region during the latter part of summer. Thus far this year, the Water Supply Availability Committee, another coalition of federal agencies which also includes the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the Bonneville Power Administration, have not declared a drought emergency for the Evergreen State. However, with drier than average conditions expecting to linger into autumn, the chances of Washington's latest drought worsening before winter are definitely a possibility.
If all goes to plan, the new Wendy's in Moses Lake will be up and open around Thanksgiving. Officials broke ground for the new restaurant Wednesday morning, to be located at the corner of East Yanazawa Boulevard and State Route 17. Representatives from Wendy's owner and operator, Wen Spoke, based in Spokane, were on hand for the ceremony, as well as officials from the city of Moses Lake Chamber of Commerce, and the Grant County Economic Development Council. Randy Swanson, Vice President of Operations, said construction will likely take a bit over 3 months to complete.
If everything goes well, we're shooting for that towards the end of November, right there around Thanksgiving, give or take a week, either way.
Wen Spoke purchased the parcel last year with initial plans to break ground on the 55-seat restaurant in the spring, but several delays pushed back the timeline. Swanson said the restaurant will feature a smaller, more efficient building than some of the past Wendy locations. Management-level job openings for the restaurant are already posted online, with crew positions to be posted soon. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
This is iFIBER 1 News. For more information on these stories and other news, visit us online at ifiber1.com or check us out on Facebook.